we are living in a 1984 dystopia. We all know that. So, of course, what better way to spend $44 billion than on buying Twitter? I mean, what better use of your money?
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Whoever wants to take it first.
Any comments about Mr. Musk?
Yeah, it's pretty extreme, but hey, it is 1984 come to life, baby.
I'll go first. I don't mind because I was speaking about this with some of my friends today. It's obviously, if you look at the boards of like places like Twitter, I think there's like a Saudi prince on the board of Twitter and everything like that. So it's not really so much like the rich are taking over. I think for Elon Musk, it's more that he's completely unhinged. And like for someone who's the richest man in the world, has so many followers, he cannot take criticism or any challenge to anything he does. And he just has, it feels like someone who just didn't have that attention growing up and has finally got it and is still reacting like he's someone who I guess doesn't have that admiration. And I guess the main thing, something I've been seeing lately is what I can't really understand is so many Republicans in America absolutely love Elon Musk. And I read an article the other day about someone saying we should change the laws so Elon Musk can run for president for the Republican Party. And it's just like, the worship of the richest man in the world is just so infuriating. I've covered Elon Musk so much on my channel, but then just like people ignore so much of the bad things he does. Like, isn't he being sued right now by Tesla workers for racially segregating the Tesla plant? And that's the guy now who owns Twitter. And the main thing I was thinking, I'm not going to make this too long, Ken Klippenstein is like literally number one target for Elon Musk for like always posting that Ghislaine Maxwell photo. So I have no doubt in my mind there's going to be weird stuff going on, especially with left-wing accounts being banned under Elon Musk's Twitter, rather than what he says, like, I want all my critics here. Yeah, I seriously do not think he does. I think he's just insanely fragile, and now he has the platform to, I guess, create his own version of free speech on Twitter.
I love that because you said what I said, but with a really good accent. It sounded so much better. I mean, he is a very small man, small man. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll let Amy go first. I have a lot to say, but I'll let Amy go first.
I think that Elon Musk is just an actual rich version of what Donald Trump kind of portrayed him as, that tough man, kind of no nonsense, will coup anyone we have to in pursuit of the minerals necessary to build our batteries for Tesla's EVs. I mean, he really does have the same kind of tendencies as Donald Trump, but he is a little less, I would say, in tune with the amount of, or he is becoming more aware of the amount of pure unadulterated hatred that he looks to minimize. And I think this power move of buying Twitter is a way to really establish what he is trying to convey, in that whenever you are rich in this country, super rich, you can be without criticism and you can buy the necessary power to accumulate not only just the wealth, but the political power that leads to action that tends to favor the billionaire class. And I would love to know how people would respond to having that same kind of energy about making changes to the law to allow for Ilhan Omar to run for president, and to see that immediate hypocrisy, because they would lose their minds.
We can't have a black woman with a hijab? No, we can't.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, this is essentially the final evolution of the Karen, where rather than talking to the manager, they just buy the whole company. Like I feel like that's what we're seeing. And what everyone says here is absolutely on the mark. Like, this is really about him being extremely petty and just wanting to silence his critics. I mean, sure, he's saying, I welcome my critics, but I'll put that to the test and see how long I can go posting the Ghislaine Maxwell photo after underneath every single reply and see if I get banned. Who knows? So we'll test it. I'll probably forget about it, but I definitely will try. I'll make a concerted effort. But I mean, this whole thing, what I hate is that there's this fake conversation around freedom of speech happening simultaneously. And this is how, like, he's legitimizing this. Like, really, this is another huge billionaire taking over an influential American institution. I mean, it's akin to when Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, how horrifying that was and the implications of it, So this is what happens in a late stage capitalist society. And you shouldn't just think, oh, well, this is good because one supposedly benevolent dictator who I like is taking over. Well, I made this point in my video about this. Imagine if it were Warren Buffett or George Soros. Would you be saying the same thing? Even if he said, I assure you that I'm not going to silence my critics. I'm going to support, the freedom of speech on this platform. No, it's complete bullshit. And he doesn't care about freedom of speech at all. There's going to be terms of service. And somebody, I think it was Hunter Avalon, made a really great point. Yeah, it was Hunter. He made a good point about the fact that, if Elon really does, strip away the TOS and just lets anything, happen on the website, he'll bring it back immediately. And we know this because all these right-wing, supposedly free speech platforms have tested this out. And the entire platform devolves into this hellhole with slurs and targeted harassment. So you have to have that to make people want to come on these platforms in the first place. But I mean, if these people who are very concerned about freedom of speech make it their number one priority, then they should be standing up against these anti-BDS laws that are explicitly in violation of the First Amendment. They could respond to the crackdowns on gender expression in Texas, in Florida. Don't say gay. That's a First Amendment violation. Banning books. There's so many free speech issues, but whether or not your friend was banned on Twitter for saying something that was racist or memeing a little bit too close to the sun, not necessarily the free speech issue of the day. And so that's why I just wanted to put that into perspective for people, because this is not about free speech, contrary to popular belief. This is about large companies and very wealthy people consolidating the markets. These elites buying up any avenues of potential criticism. Jeff Bezos with the Washington Post, Elon Musk buying up Twitter to silence his critics. I mean, this man literally in 2016 canceled the Tesla order for a blogger who was mean to him. He criticized him. I think he wrote shame on Elon Musk or something. And then Elon Musk literally canceled his Tesla order. So this is someone who's extremely petty, and this is what he's using the platform for. Whether or not he'll change it extensively, I have no idea. Perhaps he'll implement some changes that are good. Who knows? Maybe he'll do bad as well. I don't know. For me, I don't necessarily care because I try to limit myself from Twitter because it's such a toxic place. But the impact that it has on society cannot be ignored. This is a giant social media platform. And the fact that it's in the hands of one billionaire who could do whatever he wants now, he has total control, it should alarm everyone. But instead, you have a lot of people celebrating because that's the world that we live in.
And because of the hyper-partisan divide, Mike, you nailed it in regards to Bezos, who is on the neoliberal side of things. So the Democrats, the elite Democrats are like, oh, I don't have a problem with Jeff Bezos. So democracy dies in darkness. So everybody on the right is losing their mind, or most people in general would lose their mind about Jeff Bezos owning the Washington Post. How could you have any other different opinion regarding Elon Musk buying Twitter? It's the same thing.
No, actually, this is worse. Yeah. I think it's worse because this is everybody participates in Twitter. And Washington Post is one-way communication. And those in terms of editorials, they're always going to be biased to some extent. And I was completely repulsed by the idea of Bezos buying the Washington Post. But Twitter, I think it's worse because it's much more of what should be a public forum than, say, the Washington Post is.
And then the other thing you have to remember is that you kind of have a limited amount of people that read the Washington Post. Almost everybody's on Twitter, even if they're not using it that frequently. We use Twitter as a means to connecting with people. For the life of me, I don't know how people spend hours and hours a day online getting into arguments with people. That is amazing how you can do that. And look, I'm sure people probably do it on the job. If the job isn't, it could be boring and you need to fill time. But my goodness, it's completely lost its way. And who the hell knows what's going to happen now? I mean, Elon's made it clear that it's already going private. It's no one public.
I have a question for you, Amy. Yeah. How many people could we house for $44 billion?
So there has been some I think rumors floating around that we could end homeless for around 20 billion, but that would be like upfront costs just to get everybody housed. But even then, it would be, a really good, down payment, if you will, on a homeless program that could be, publicly funded. It would definitely cover the first year's costs.
Yeah.
If that gives you an idea of how much money is. Yeah.
It's ridiculous to me. The whole thing is ridiculous.
How much that's pretty much the HUD's budget in the fiscal year 2022.
And not only that, but think about this, if Elon truly understood what it means to be a living legend, then he could do something like end homelessness, and then they would build statues to him. No one is building statues to this guy because again, there are people who think like he invented Tesla, that he invented the electric car. It's like, no, he didn't do that. His motivation is clearly financial. And while obviously we do need to move to a clean energy economy, and we are very adamant about that, here's a guy whose interest is nothing of the sort. Because if it was, I think we would have heard by now that one of his main motivations to running Tesla is so that we can move to a green energy economy. I don't know, guys. Has Elon ever said that? Because I don't think he has.
I think that Elon wants to create an entire fleet of automated Teslas that just drive themselves around to replace all forms of public transit. That's what he has spoken out and envisioned, and he wants to just monopolize the entire transportation sector.
Yeah. But what he's planning here, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but he and the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, Dean Trantelis, have decided they're going to put in an underground shuttle transport to take rich people, because nobody else will be able to afford to use it, from downtown Fort Lauderdale to the beach so that they don't have to have traffic. And this, meanwhile, the infrastructure in Fort Lauderdale is crumbling. They have sewage in their streets when it rains a lot, but they're going to invest in some sort of shuttle transport for wealthy people to get to the beach faster.
That's a great use of money.
Wow.
That's like modern day Robert Moses bullshit.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.